Hello world, Shelly here, and today I've got the best high-end foundations that I have reviewed in 2020. I am going to do a roundup of my current favorite foundations of all time as of 2020. You guys said in the drugstore version of this video that you wanted to see that, so I will do that as well. These are all going to be foundations that I have reviewed in 2020. Not necessarily released in 2020, though a lot of them were, but ones that I have reviewed in 2020. I'm going to try not to drive you crazy with glare from my lights. Have you ever had one of those days where your eyes are just like, no, I'm not going to wear contacts, thank you very much, but the filming must go on. So these are my new Zennis. Oh, a little bit glam, a little bit retro, a little bit nerd. That's how I like to roll. So I have 8 different foundations that made the cut. These are all foundations that ranked A- or higher, a 90% or higher on my grading scale. And if you have not seen my master list of foundations, go on geekoutofwater.com, click the Foundation Fest link. I have a ranked, sortable, searchable spreadsheet of 200 plus foundations that I have reviewed and graded. The price of the foundation is not part of the grade, so you can compare a 95 on drugstore is the same as a 95 on the high end. So I'm going to do these in reverse order, so the A- is at the 90% range all the way up to the solid high A's. And like I said, there's 8 of them. 8 of them made the list. The one thing that's been very nice this year, even if there haven't been too many nice things this year, is that I've had a lot of good foundations come my way. I review foundations for dry and maturing skin, so all of my criteria revolve around that. And let's jump into this with the foundation that scored a 90% A-, just squeaked in to the best of 2020. That is the Clarins the Everlasting Foundation Plus. Now, I have really good luck with Clarins skincare. The double serum is one of my favorite products of all time. I also have pretty good luck with their complexion products. The Clarins Skin Illusion is one of my favorite no makeup kind of foundations, and this one is very nice as well. Super lightweight on the skin. It is a dewy finish. The thing I like is that you can get a good amount of coverage from it, even if you're just gonna, roll really quick with finger application and run out the door. It is a super hydrating feeling on the skin. By the end of the day, if you've got dry skin, you will have no trouble with dryness. It does not cling to dry patches, which is good because I have them quite regularly. It's a very pretty foundation on the skin. I do find that it oxidizes about a half shade on me after about the first hour of wearing it, but if you plan ahead when you're picking your shade, shouldn't be a problem. It is a super comfortable foundation to wear, and I very much enjoy this one. So Clarins Everlasting, bravo, you made the list. I also recently tried some of their makeup, and I'm impressed so far. I need to try more Clarins. I already knew I liked their skincare, but I'm also very much enjoying their makeup. Next up, these are like if I was stranded on a desert island. This is the order that I would bid farewell to my beloveds. So the next one that would go, if it had to go, this one surprised me a little bit, but I'm glad to see that this brand had a bit of a comeback this year. It's LOreal. I love them. I just love them so much. In the past, I didn't have a ton of good luck with their complexion products. I'm head over heels for their eyeshadow. I think it's one of the most underrated and consistently reliable formulas on the planet. But this is the LOreal Pro Soft Focus Longwear Foundation. I have it in shade 2. It came in at a 92% A-. Lightweight on the skin. This one is closer to a matte. It's like a satin matte finish on me, which mattes are hard to pull off on dry skin, and mattes can be hard to pull off on maturing skin as well, especially if you're dealing with texture. So the fact that this one looks lovely, good sign. It's not drying. I'm not going to say that it's hydrating, but if you have dry skin, by the end of the day, you're still going to feel tolerable. It's not going to dry you out. It is cruelty-free and vegan. The wear time is exceptional. If you need a long day of wear, it also wears very nicely under a mask with very little transfer. Very pretty finish. It gets a little bit more luminous as the day goes on. So it starts out closer to that matte and ends up a little bit closer to a satin luminous, but very, very, very pretty on the skin. And one of my other favorite things about this foundation is that a very little bit gives you a lot of coverage. You get a lot of coverage right out the door with this one. So if that's what you're looking for, it's beautiful. Next up, a brand that I was not familiar with. It showed up on Ulta's website. It was new to me, and I love it. At least the foundation. It's Exo. This is the Exo Beauty High Fidelity Foundation. I've got shade 480 Liam, which is pretty much a summer shade for me. It's a little too dark for winter, but this one scored a 93 A-, very lightweight. It's a dewy finish foundation. You can apply this stuff any which way. I have worn this as full face glam. I've worn this as just everyday makeup. I've worn this as no makeup. You can apply it with a sponge. You can apply it with a brush. You can apply it with your fingers. It works well any which way, which I love because that flexibility is just, I can do whatever I want with it, that whatever day it happens to be. It does a really, really good job at blurring pores and smoothing texture. It is cruelty-free and vegan. One thing I find that as you wear this throughout the day, now I'm not an oily skin person. I'm a very dry skin person. I almost feel like my body doesn't produce oil, but there are some oils in the ingredients, and I think that over time throughout the day, some of them will separate out if they're not being absorbed into your skin, which if you have super dry skin, you might not have this problem because your skin might say, yes, give me the oils and absorb it all. But I do find that most of the time when I wear this, I do have to either powder my T-zone just a little bit in the middle of the day or blot just a little bit. And I think it's coming from the product itself, but I really don't mind that because my skin is so dry, it enjoys this kind of a formula. But even at the 10-hour mark, this stuff looks gorgeous on the skin. To say that it wears well that's not even the right way to say it. It looks fresh and beautiful 10 hours in, not just degrading gracefully. I'm talking it looks beautiful throughout the day. That's pretty impressive, I think. So Exo Beauty, brilliant first impression in my book. Loving this foundation. Next up on the list, this one would be hard to part with if I had to. I have 4 different shades of this at this point. I have 4 of the 5 lightest shades. They're like $125 a pop. I didn't pay full price for all of them. I paid full price for 2 of them, and I paid half price for the other 2. This is the By Terry. This is the Terribly Denzilous Anti-Wrinkle Serum Foundation. Of the 4 shades I have, literally none of them match me. I just don't have a match in By Terry, so I mix. But here's the thing with this foundation. When you apply this foundation, it's beautiful. That's great, right? Whatever. Great. Beautiful foundation. Lots of things are beautiful. Do they cost me $100 plus? No, they don't. But this foundation, I'm telling you, by the end of the day, when you wash it off, when I reviewed this, I washed my face, did the review, wrapped it up, did the conclusion, everything, yada, yada, go to bed, wash my face. My skin felt and looked better at the end of the day after I took this off than it did at the beginning of the day when I was fresh and hydrated and all my skincare was all happy. Like, it blew my mind, and I thought it might be a fluke, and I tried it a dozen more times. It is not a fluke. And then I bought a whole lot of shades trying to find my match, and I still don't have a match. But the skincare in this is just, my skin loves it. I would put it up like on par with like the Kosas tinted face oil, except this behaves like a foundation. It's got coverage like a foundation. Whereas the tinted face oil is just more almost like a BB cream, sort of a, even out your complexion kind of thing. This behaves like foundation, but it treats your skin like skincare. It blows my mind. Super lightweight on the skin, very hydrating, incredibly smooth. I would call it a satin finish. Now, I've got texture issues on this side of my face, and for it to be this smoothing is just so good. Your skin feels better by the end of the day than it started out. Now, wear time could use a tiny bit of improvement. I'm going to call this like a 9 to 10 hour wear in terms of it looking nice, and then it starts to break down. Of course, I like things to last me 12 plus, but not very many do that very well. This stuff though, oh, so worth it, even at full price. I've got 4 of them. What can I say? I'm tempted to buy the 5th one so I have shades 1 through 5. Maybe that's the magic number. Maybe I need a 5th one. I don't know. This stuff's so good, you guys. It's really good. We are down to the 1, 2, 3 top 4. All right, this one. This is my new favorite shade match. If we're not talking CYO Life Proof 101. Because that, you've seen swatches on my arm, like you can't even see it on my arm. It blows my mind. And rest in peace, CYO. But this one is really good. It's not quite the same. See, I like that gray undertone. A lot of people don't match a gray undertone, but my skin loves a gray undertone. This is not quite the gray undertone, but if you like my matches without the gray undertone, this might be for you. It's the Makeup Forever Reboot Active Care Revitalizing Foundation. This one scored a 94A. By Terry was also a 94A. The Reboot, so good. I have it in shade R230. It is a beautiful match for me. I love this match. In fact, this is now, typically when I go on, for example, the Sephora Shade Finder, I will put in Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place and 1C1 Cool Bone, because even though that's not a perfect match for me, it is such a reliable match year round that it ends up being a good one to use to compare other foundations to. This is what I've started putting in instead. Well, I mean, I put them all in, of course. But I've been checking this one too, because this one is actually pretty doggone close to my winter shade, and it's beautiful. This foundation, very lightweight wear. I would call this a natural dewy finish, so it's not super dewy. It's like a Your Skin, but slightly glowier kind of a look to it. Love the color match. I would call it slightly hydrating in the sense that by the end of the day, even if you're in a really dry climate and you're suffering some really dehydrated skin, your skin is still going to get a little bit of a boost to hydration from this. It does a little bit of smoothing, a little bit of blurring of texture, so your pores are looking smooth, your texture's looking blurred. Very nice wear. You can get a solid double-digit workday out of this beautiful finish, and it degrades gracefully. It's not as transfer resistant as I would like in terms of wearing masks with it. I've really only got one super duper favorite here in terms of mask wearing. Lorac would be the 2nd place, and my number 1 is also my favorite for masks. We will get there. So this one's not the best wearing a mask, but it's not the worst, and it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. I love this shade too. So Makeup Forever, bravo. Love you, love you. This one won't surprise anybody. The Estee Lauder Futurist Hydra Rescue. This is shade 1 N2 Ecru, because there is no 1C1 Cool Bone in this, so I went neutral. And it's a little dark for winter for me, but I bought it in the summertime, so it worked well. This one scored a 95A, and this is one of the foundations that I think the Makeup Revolution Pro CC in my drugstore favorites is trying to dupe out. Potentially. They do look pretty similar. The wear of this, very lightweight. I would call this a natural glow to the skin. It is super hydrating. If you have dry skin, it's lovely. The blurring of pores is gorgeous. You do not need a pore blurring primer with this. It does a little bit of smoothing of texture. The wear time is excellent. You get SPF 45 in this puppy, and it degrades gracefully. It's another one of those that you can put it on any which way. Fingertips, sponge, brush, quick, out the door face, or you can do it up like a full face of makeup, go full glam. Like, you can do whatever you need to do with this. It works really well, and I enjoy that. I like flexibility. I like options. Okay, 2nd place. Let's do this. We mentioned the former beloved CYO Life Proof 101. that is no longer with us. If you've been missing that undertone, this one, when I first swatched it, I almost fell out of my chair because I was like, it's a similar undertone. Undertone similar. This one's a smidge darker than the CYO 101, but the undertone is there. Are you ready? You guys have already seen all these reviews, so why am I building this up? It's the Yensa BC Foundation. This is shade Light Neutral. This scored a 97A. Like, it's hard to get that high up on my love list. It is what I'm wearing today. I just wore a tiny little bit of it because I can't put makeup on without my contacts in. This face, which is basically nothing, like I have hardly any makeup on, you guys, took me as long as it would have done to get full glam because I can't see a doggone thing. I have to have my face right up to a mirror. Why did I do liquid liner? Like, what was I thinking? I don't know. Anyway, this stuff is so good. Let's talk. Lightweight, satin finish. So you've got a little bit of reflect. I don't have, like, for example, my forehead. I have no highlight on my forehead. So the reflect is the product. Of course, we're talking studio lighting beaming at me from in front of me. It's super smoothing. Like, even the textured side of my face looks super smooth. It is super long wearing, which is one of the most awesome things. And that's part of why I picked this one to wear today, because I'm wearing my glasses and it doesn't get all over the place. Of course, glasses are still going to leave marks on your nose, like just about everything else, but it stays put. Pretty good with masks, not budge proof, but it wears very, very well. It is not drying. The undertone is very similar to the Life Proof 101. It minimizes the appearance of flaking skin, which is kind of an interesting little quirk to it. If you do have flaking or peeling going on and you apply this foundation, initially you can see it, but within an hour or so, the skincare inside of really all of the Yensa products, they have a proprietary blend of skincare. It's the super blacks, the 8 super black essences. Within an hour or so, those flakes and any of that like agitated skin sort of melts back into your face in a way that is minimized in terms of the appearance, which is really nice if you have flaking going on, which I very often do. You do not need to set this with powder. I did not set this with powder today, and it's still wonderful, and you still get that long wear even if you don't set it with powder, which is awesome. I've even got this all the way up under my eyes today. They do make a concealer and it is quite nice, but this is such a nice multi-purpose kind of a product that it works well that way too. So glad to have something with that undertone in my life. It's also SPF 40. I love this stuff. Yensa, one of my favorite brand discoveries of 2020 right here. Are you ready for number one? This was not released in 2020. In fact, I had it for a year before I even tried it. And shame on me because it has become one of my absolute favorite foundations. You are probably guessing right now. It's the MAC Face and Body. This is my number one mask foundation. This stuff stays put. It was a while back, and I'm sure you can't even find it on my Instagram now, but I did an Insta story the first time I wore this for a long time with a mask. I had it on for like 3 hours. I was talking all day, like I was talking to people, and I took the mask off, and the only spot that had any foundation on it was right by my ear, which was probably a spot that I hadn't blended out well enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, the properly applied portions of my face had no transfer at all, and that blew my mind. And so it's been my mask wearing foundation ever since. I don't wear masks a lot because I don't leave the house a lot, and I don't have people to my house, and I don't get out of my car when I do leave the house. But when I do have to get out of my car or encounter another human being, it's great for wearing masks. Super lightweight. I personally like to apply it with a brush. I know there's this whole contingent of people and makeup artists, and the way you're supposed to apply this is to like rub it between your fingers and the texture kind of changes a little bit and then you apply it to your face. And I mean, that's fine. I do that too sometimes, but I prefer to apply it with a brush. I'm an alien. What can I tell you? This stuff is very hydrating on dry skin. You can go from completely sheer all the way to a solid medium coverage with this guy, just depending how much you want to build it up. And again, I love that flexibility, super smoothing. I am also going to say this is practically drugstore prices. Some of the drugstore foundations at full price, like Revlon I've seen, are over $18 for an ounce of product. This is $18 an ounce. Now the thing is, the bottle's bigger than an ounce. So this is 1.7 fluid ounces or 50 mils. And they even make a bigger size of this, which is going to be my next purchase because I do go through this stuff like crazy. But this is like drugstore price. MAC is a prestige brand and $18 an ounce is a high-end drugstore price. You know, we're talking pretty reasonable. You know, this is a bigger bottle, but another nice thing, this does not cling to dry patches, so if you suffer with flaking, peeling skin, dry patches, this one is going to tolerate them really well. It does not settle into lines. It wears super long throughout the day. It's beautiful. It's easy. Oh, it's so good. I actually want to buy, so this is shade neutral 2. This one scored a 99. None of my foundations are 100 because none of them are quite perfect. I can always find something I would change, but this is shade neutral 2 N2, and it's pretty much my winter shade except that, or my summer shade, except that it's a little light for me in the summer and it's a little dark for me for the winter. So I kind of do want to try one shade lighter just to see if that will work better for winter time. But this is fine for winter. You know, it's really not that far off on me. So I actually picked this particular bottle up last time I was in Ireland, in Galway. Oh, I can't wait to go back, you guys. I miss it so much. I just, my heart hurts for, the pandemic is just, I'm ready to grow a third eye. Stick me. Get me a vaccine. Get it in me. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'll take it. MAC, Face and Body, #1. That is where this one lives. In my heart, in glory, in infamy. Why did I wait so long to try it? I literally had it for a year before I cracked it open. But it's a winner. It's a super top favorite of mine. All right, there you have it. Those are the top high-end foundations that I reviewed in 2020. I will do a roundup of all the foundations regardless of when I reviewed them, and kind of like an updated, like, these are my favorite foundations as of 2020. So that will be coming. I will get that to you guys coming soon, as well as lots of other top best of 2020 makeup videos. There you have it. As always, thanks a lot for taking some time out of your day to geek out over makeup with me. Come back every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern time for new videos. I appreciate your time, and I hope you guys all have an awesome day or night wherever you are in the world. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.